Oh my god, this is a great palate cleanser. This is a great palate cleanser, bruh. Is this the Eurogamer? 22 minutes. I'm gonna watch that, but I'm gonna watch that on my own time. Hopefully I'll get a short version in this article. But can you pop out the video? There we go. I'll see if they listed the reasons individually as chapters. Okay, no, they didn't, but we'll read. We got an article about it, and then somewhere along here I got a video for it. So we'll watch that one because that one's 6 minutes, but the other one I'll watch in my free time. But we will read the article. What is it actually going to play like? This individual went hand-on with South of the Midnight last week at the time of this recording, and they have to say this game is absolutely beautiful. I mean, we already knew that. Tell us something we don't know. It has clearly been made with great attention to detail and respect for the Deep South by the team at Compulsion. Yeah, we can tell because they use words like trifling. And as a Negro that grew up in the Deep South, partially, not like entirely, but partially grew up in the Deep South, like when I watch black portrayals of characters, usually it's a white man writing a black character with no black people in the vicinity. So they use lingo that's more caucus, so to speak. And I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing because not every type of black person is the same, you know, but it is also nice to see representation of other kinds of black people. Cause like not every black person, I know there's some racists sitting there saying, man, all black people are alike. But not all black people are stereotypical Carl Johnson from Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. No, some black people are nerdy. Some black people use the lingo that the white kids use, for lack of better terms. Some kids use ebonics. Some black kids are deaf. Some black kids are blind. Some black kids are gay. Some black kids are straight. Some black kids grew up in wealth and then became poor over time. So now they had to adjust to having less money or something like that. Like there's all types of situations that black people have ended up in. And we've seen a variety, a large spectrum of Caucasian people in certain scenarios and how they would react according to their culture and their like individual character's viewpoint of the world. But when it comes to black people, we haven't seen much of that because in the past, like it's getting better now, but in the past, most black characters were either side characters, like token black characters, or they were either like background cameo characters that pop out the cut every once in a while, or like I said, they're more characters that were written by a white man that the artist just took a crayon and colored in brown, which again, is not a bad thing. But I've seen it 100 times. I want to see something that more closely relates to me. And them using words like trifling, that's a word that caucus people just ain't gonna think of. It's like, it's hard to explain to somebody who's never been in that situation. But it's certain things that you do unconsciously that when you meet people who didn't grow up in your culture, they don't understand. Like, they don't get it. Like, even for example, the whole, if you as a black person, right, go outside and you see a stand that's selling chicken flavored watermelon or watermelon flavored chicken, you as a Negro are not gonna want to go eat that. But the Caucasian person from your job may go, oh man, that sounds like a cool novel idea. I'll buy a little small, whatever the small size is, and give it a sample. They might not understand why you don't want to sit there and why you may not want to stand there and eat that. Yeah, especially in public, or even get seen or caught buying it in public. So with certain unconscious things that, and I'm trying to best to explain it, bro, but there's certain unconscious things that people do that when they meet people outside of their culture, they don't realize is an unconscious thing that specifically exists within their culture until they're around a group of people who are outside of their culture. Again, that I'm doing my best to explain it, and I feel like I'm not doing a good enough job, but like, you just have to experience it. And shit like hearing the word trifling, I don't even know if that word has an official dictionary definition. Like, I'm being so dead ass. But again, it feels realistic from the stuff that we've seen. That's why I like it, because it feels like an authentic story with a lot of black people in the writing room with actual influence saying, no, do this, do this, do this, do this. This is what would be accurate to somebody of that environment. I don't know how historically accurate it is, but it is accurate. And I hope it comes out that Sweet Baby helped with this game, because fuck y'all niggas. Not fuck Sweet Baby, fuck the niggas. It has clearly been made with great attention to detail and respect for the deep south. South of the Midnight is alive with natural energy. Insects chirp, birds squawk, rabbits gamble around, alligators bites never heal, and they also lays in the water. This is all backed with soulful guitars and choral singing, which immediately puts you right into the depths of the deep south. And as somebody who 99% of the time when I play a game, the first thing I do is go into the settings and cut the music straight the fuck off. Double if I'm playing a fighting game, I don't give a fuck how good the music in a fighting game is. I'm cutting that shit off. I'm going to leave the music on for this game, because even when I be playing story games, I'll be cutting the music off. I just want to hear straight Foley. And if you don't know what Foley is, you're not an audiophile like me. So I just want to hear straight Foley the whole time while I'm playing the game. And quite frankly, with this game, I'm probably turn the music down, but I'm gonna want to hear it, because it's a type of music that, like I said, I'm not used to hearing in games. I'm not used to seeing games that are this black. Like, this game is so black, if it was a person walking down the street in the deep south, it would get called a nigga, but not the yo, what's good my nigga, the other one, the one that they call you if they think you're better off as a strange fruit. Do your history, look up what strange fruit is. Y'all, there's a reason why Young Chris didn't release Blood on the Leaves for a while. Their preview build took place in South of the Midnight's 3rd chapter, which is known as A Big Fish. How many chapters will there be for this game? And how long is each chapter? That's something I want to ask. What the fuck is going on in this video player? Cut that shit off. At the beginning of this chapter, protagonist Hazel is searching for both her house and her mother, Lacey. Oh, so that trailer we got is like a decent bit into the game, basically. Okay. It is not just Hazel's home life the hurricane has rather unexpectedly affected. As Hazel makes her way through the world, it is clear there is something unusual going on. Excuse me. Gargantuan peaches can be seen here and there. A ghost by the name of Mahala appears to Hazel as a spectral guide, and another voice calls out asking for help. Hold up, let me close this shit so I can read. There's also a strange nightmarish creatures known as haints popping up throughout the world. These haints appear when they... Okay, you're just describing the game. I want to hear the gameplay. Within minutes, I was met by some of these haints and got my first taste of South of the Midnight's combat. Much of this relied on Hazel's recently acquired magical abilities, which are all themed around weaving. Hey, oh shit! She one of the Avatar niggas. She part of the weave nation. She be chilling with Ron Suno. Oh shit! She be chilling with Ron Suno. Is Hazel secretly from the books? But she can use a power called Strand Pull to pull enemies towards her, and Strand Push to, you guessed it. This tactic of pulling and pushing was especially useful when trying to deal with haint nests in my preview, which would periodically produce explosive flying creatures known as larvae. Oh god, flying enemies. I don't care what game it is, I will always hate flying enemies of any variety. With Hazel's Weaver magic, I use these creatures to my advantage by pulling them towards me before launching them back towards the nest as they exploded. I use this pulling and pushing technique. How long is this fucking article, dog? Okay, this shit is very fucking long. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not finna read all that. Yeah, let's hop straight into the video. I'm gonna watch that shit in my free time. I'd rather deal with something I could watch. Yeah, let that begin and play as I drop my shit.
Hello there, and welcome to VGC.
What's good?
Chris Scallion, and this is my preview of South of Midnight. The footage you see here was
Alright, tell us about it.
Series X.
Oh, so that means it's gonna look even more crispy on PC.
I concluded by saying that even though
And he said S or X? Because if he said S, that means it's gonna look even better on PlayStation.
Scallion, and this is my preview of South of Midnight. The footage you see here was captured on the Xbox Series X. When I wrote a
No, he said X. This is probably how I was going to look on PlayStation.
I concluded by saying that even though the game looked fantastic...
Oh, it's in 4K? Let's see that. Make sure that bitch... I just saw screen tearing. I saw screen tearing. What's going on? Computer?
Even though the game looked fantastic, the proof would always be...
Hey, yo, what the fuck? Cousin, what the fuck?
Playing.
Alright, there we go. What the fuck?
Has previously...
Okay, this video was encoded bad. Let me put it on 1440.
Visual style, but were somewhat lacking in the gameplay department.
The fuck? Yo, is my internet good right now? Oh, let's throw that bitch in 1080. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Oh, you know what it is? I have on my limiters. It's not allowed to use past a certain amount of CPU. Bump that bitch up to 4K. The jungle. I come back. Okay, I get it. Oh, there we go.
After all, developed.
Oh yeah, I still see screen tearing.
Previously released 2 titles that boasted a wonderfully unique visual style, but were somewhat lacking in the gameplay department. 2013's Contrast was a visually striking puzzle platformer set in the 1920s.
I'm like, right now I'm looking at the gameplay. Okay, I see the HUD. So you have different abilities hanging to your buttons. I'm wondering now if this is more of like a Soulsborne type experience, or if this is more of like an action game type experience where you occasionally press face buttons. Because like action games tend to use the face buttons more. For those of y'all who don't know, like the buttons that say A, B, X, Y, X, Y, Z, these buttons right here, those are the face buttons, and then these are like bumpers and triggers, back buttons.
Even between the 3D world and the 2D shadows it created.
Yeah, this shit screen tearing hard. Okay, I think that's my browser a little bit.
Really well to the actual gameplay. It was a bit too frustrating as a result. This was followed by We Happy Few, which grabbed players' attention with its initial teaser trailer and its
I never played We Happy Few, but I heard it was alright.
But also failed to live up to expectations when the final game was released. When South of Midnight was first shown off at the Xbox Games Showcase in June 2023 then, my initial thought was, God, this looks fantastic.
Yo, word, this gameplay looks amazing right now. And the background, the way it got that heat distortion effect, I'm kind of fucking with it.
Chance to go hands-on with a small section of the game.
Yeah, talk about the game, nigga.
Signs are promising. From what I've played, South of Midnight doesn't appear to be doing anything truly revolutionary beyond its apps.
We didn't expect it to.
Compulsion's past record.
We're here for the story, nigga.
The gameplay is a wise move. My hour or so with the game was spent playing its third chapter, which takes place after the protagonist Hazel has already seen her house swept away downriver by a hurricane.
Damn, that is a big ass peach. Holy shit. That shit look like Cardi B ass.
Hazel encounters
That shit look like K. Michelle booty from the back.
Special abilities.
That shit look like Megan Thee Stallion booty from the front.
Catfish hanging from a tree, the same one you might have seen in previous trailers and gameplay footage from the game. So it's up to Hazel to figure out a way to get the catfish down by exploring the nearby environment. Naturally, given that this is an action platformer, a lot of this results in fights against groups of enemies, which in this instance are mysterious, tar-like.
Because like, the thing that interests me about this game is more so the platformer part than the action part, even though I know the action part is going to be a focus. But I really want to know, how good is the platforming in this game going to be? Because I love action games, but like, I love platforming games. Alright, this is weird, but I like movement-based action games. Cause like, I love platformers, don't get me wrong, I fuck with platformers heavy, but I just enjoy platforming in pieces and bits. I don't like purely platforming. Like, I'll play a pure platformer cause I like games, you know, but like, I just like action platforming every once in a while. That's why I feel like I gravitate towards characters like Captain America and Marvel Rivals, cause I just love action platforming and I love the idea of fighting with good movement. That's what I really expect out of this game to shine, like the movement mechanics. That's what I mostly want to see and what I'm mostly focusing on. Because like he said, the combat, it looks alright. It looks par 10 for the course. Like the same shit that they've been doing since Xbox 360. I'm not expecting nothing new in that department. I just want to see how they clean up the fucking, again, platforming. And we're here for the story with this game. I don't give a fuck if the gameplay is generic. How is it in real... in relation to the story?
Haints, which have been plaguing the world with dark energy. Hazel is a weaver, which means she can use magical powers to combat energy. By fighting the Haints, the player isn't actually carrying out violence, even though it certainly looks that way, but is instead using Hazel's weaving powers to mend their dark energy. After stronger enemies, Hazel can walk up to them and use a special unraveling finishing move, which pulls out the darkness and yanks them out of existence.
I wonder how long is this game going to be too?
A particular area will be coloured with green.
Is it captioned?
It's like Flower with fighting, basically.
He said it's like what with fighting?
Yeah, will be coloured with greenery. It's like Flower with fighting, basically.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck he said.
As my preview time started with the third chapter, it's not clear how much gameplay was in the first two, but I'm inclined to believe it's not that much, because Hazel is still learning new moves throughout the course of chapter 3.
Okay.
There's a double jump move, a glide move which sees her briefly weaving a Breath of the Wild style, and a wall run technique which comes in handy near.
You can wall run?
Which has been.
Oh, that's about to be lit if they let you use it creatively. See, that's the type of stuff I want to see. My thing is though, how freely are they gonna let you use that? Like, if it's only sections where it's like, you see those big yellow painted sections right there, that's where you wall run. Like, if it's gonna be like that, if they're just gonna use a wall running as something, as like a hidden loading screen, something for like basically level transitions, I guess. But if they freely let you use these platforming mechanics whenever the fuck you feel like it, and they design the levels in with that in mind, instead of just platform fight, platform fight, platform fight, if they let you platform and fight at the same time, sounds wonderful to me.
Times in other action platformers, but it's handled well here. Controlling Hazel is a breeze, and her double jump and glide moves are quite generous, allowing players to cover large.
Oh, you know I gotta double it.
Stages of more treacherous terrain, but there's something very satisfying about swiftly hopping through its deep south environment, stopping only to dish out the occasional kicking and unraveling to any enemies.
Yeah, I see them green sections.
Some of the game's focus on.
It looks a little bit yellow painty to me.
To its first mythical creature, a chap called Benji. As you play through this stuff, Rhubarb, a troubled young man who asks you to go out with a bottle.
Young?
Clumps of pain.
That nigga about 40. Nigga, you look 33.
Clumps are each symbolised by a brief cutscene.
Nigga, 33 times 2. Nigga, 66.
Brother Benji and how he was treated badly by others. As you see each part of the story, the illusion fills your bottle, and the aim is to plant the bottle in a bottle tree once it's full and hopefully cure the pain.
Bottle tree, alright, buddy.
The story gets rather dark and ends with you climbing a giant boy tree hybrid thing that forms part of the stage's final puzzle.
This is scaring me. It's looking a little bit yellow painty, like they're not gonna let me freely platform.
The Midnight stand out from other games in the genre. It's for this reason that Compulsion Games is perhaps playing its
shit.
By taking
one thing I liked about Astrobot last year in Big 24. Crazy time be moving fast. But one thing I liked about Astrobot and Big 24 was there were so many points in the game where the platforming, it straight up just didn't tell you where to go. Like, there were multiple paths and multiple ways to go, and they pretty much said, hey, figure it out, nigga. Go left, go right, go back, forwards, down, jump off a cliff to the little ledge that's a few feet below. Do whatever, nigga. Figure it the fuck out. And once you figured out the main path, you knew where to deviate and like where to go to look for secrets, if that makes sense. Like, I wonder if platforming wise they're gonna do anything like that, or if, like I said earlier, there is gonna basically be yellow paint syndrome of platform here with a big ass arrow on a sign, which I'm okay with if it's like extremely light platforming, like some Final Fantasy Rebirth type platforming. But in a game where platforming is going to be partially the focus in terms of it being an action platformer, like basically on some Kena type shit, I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I'm hoping that the platforming is a little bit more free than what we're being shown right now.
The gameplay. Contrast and Be Happy Few were both games that attempted to do something different with their art style, but tried to carry that innovation into its game mechanics too.
And no frame drops and beautiful lighting.
It's possible to be too clever for your own good, and sometimes players need at least some sort of familiarity to ground them if other.
Wait, what did he say? I feel like he said some bullshit. God damn, this that 4K. This that 4 kizzle. Video, you gonna load? Okay, I'm gonna lower it to 1440, bruh. This 4K struggling, bruh. I only have a Ryzen 7. AO tab. There we go.
Happy Few were both games that attempted to do something different with their art style, but tried to carry that innovation into its game mechanics too, and struggled as a result. Sometimes it's possible to be for your own good, and sometimes players need at least some sort of familiarity to ground them if other aspects of the game.
Nah, I don't. Okay, so I felt like he said some bullshit and he did. So what he's basically saying is, from what and again, I haven't played We Happy Few. I'm just going off of the statement I heard in context of this video. From what I've seen, I haven't seen anything creative mechanically. I've seen basic shit. I haven't seen anything that's blown my mind and made me with shock and amazement and awe or nothing like that. That's number one. Number two, like, I don't understand why why them trying to be creative and make something different is necessarily a bad game, because isn't the point of making your own game to follow you and your team's vision to make something that stands out in the market, something that people would actually want to play? Like, I think that's a real ass brain rot ass statement, because it, like, why do you want them to create the same game over and over? Like, that feels like one of those times where if somebody called you a nigga that complains just to complain, off of me hearing that statement, I would be like, you know, I haven't heard much from this dude, but I do remember them saying that one dumbass statement. Like, bro, that sounds like a complaint just to complain ass complaint, because if they didn't do that, if they made the game familiar, as you say, then you would just say, oh, it's such and such game with a different coat of paint. But now that it's not like such and such game, and you see like little inklings and hintings of mechanics that they took from place to place that are just innovations within the genre overall in general, you'll mention those, but you'll be like, oh yeah, this shit is too creative for its own good. What? Like, again, I'm just going off of what I'm hearing, because I could play the game and be like, you know what, I was tweaking, I was bugging the fuck out. But from what I heard just now, that sounded like a terrible tier take. I'm not gonna lie. You said the game should be more familiar? Nah, bruh. No, it shouldn't. No, it shouldn't. This game should have its own unique identity. And I don't know the race of this person, but this feels like, I know for a fact when this game comes out, besides like, go plow people, that there's gonna be a lot of Mafia, I think it was either 2 or 3, no, 3. There's gonna be a lot of Mafia 3 head ass type takes, which, for those of you who don't know anything about Mafia 3, the media at the time when that game came out basically said the story of that game was generic, average, whatever type of story. But like, I haven't beat it or played it myself, but for the large portions of the story that I did see with that game was one of those games where, like, if you weren't black, the story of that game wasn't meant for you. That game really showed you and really, like, put you in the shoes of a black person and showed you what it feels like to be black in America. Even if it is all that time ago, it still shows you, it gives you that feel of what it's like to be black in America. So, like I said, after the go niggas, I feel like this game is gonna get Mafia 3'd, and a lot of people are just gonna call it average with a mid story, when really the story just wasn't meant for you. That's why you don't understand it.
Original. In this case, South of Midnight's focus on the Deep South, an area of America that's oddly underutilised in video games, coupled with its interest in stop motion animation.
Oddly? Oddly? You find it odd that people haven't used the Deep South in video games? You find that odd? You don't know why they don't like using the idea of the Deep South in video games? Like, I feel like that's one of those things where if you don't understand it, there's no amount of explaining that'll get you to understand it. Like, either you're lying your ass off or you genuinely don't know, and
maybe all the enemies.
Hey, you're gonna have to find out from somebody else.
At its core, it continues to offer a straightforward action platformer. Then its setting, plot, and art style may be the elements that elevate it above other typical examples of the genre.
That's what it's supposed to be, dog.
Sometimes it's fine for the journey to be a simple one if the scenery along the way is what counts.
Okay, so there is little side elements and more free and like somewhat, I don't want to say freeform platforming, but there is going to be sections where it's like, hey, you don't have to go down the main beaten path. There's a alternate objective that you could go through.
So
I hope we get access to this 1 hour beta.
This was just a 1 hour bite of what will hopefully be a much larger game. So if South of Midnight doesn't go on to mix up either its setting or its mechanics, there's a risk it may still eventually outstay its welcome before the credits roll. So far things are looking very positive, but if you'll forgive me for bringing things full circle, when it comes to the full release on April 8th, the final proof will, as ever, be in the playing.
Sorry to be moving you around like this.
Was my brother, Benji his name. He saw things different. He was my shame.
Damn, that music sound hella melanated.
I said farewell. I took my hammer. I took it to hell. He was my brother, Benji his name. He saw things.
Okay. I'll clap it up for that preview, because I seen a couple things that have me a little bit on the concern side, but I don't see anything that's like bad to the point to where it's like, oh hell no, we gotta condemn this game before it comes out or anything like that. So yeah, I just wanted to also end this off on a funny note, saying that Apple Maps has officially done it. I've seen that Google Maps did it too, but yep, they officially named the Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America just for American users within the app. And I just want to say, wow, this shit is so insanely fucking stupid. That meme I seen all them years ago with and some of y'all may know what I'm talking about. It's a dude in a suit and it's like a globe of the world. And he has blue paint and he's painting every part of the globe except America blue. And the caption was something along the lines of how Americans see the world. Like every day I walk this earth, I'm like, damn, that's one of the truest memes I've